here with Sami Stormont, head coach at Elma. Sami, welcome. Glad to speak to you today. Man, I was trying to figure out exactly the timeline of how I know you and when we met. I mean, I know I recruited you in high school a little bit, and then coached against you when you went to play at Northwood. So I think that's probably the extent of our
for sure.
And then just recruiting and seeing you out and that kind of stuff. But I think we had a good dinner at gosh, what was that place?
In Columbus, I don't know, but it was so good.
Oh my gosh, yeah, some meat.
That Brazilian steakhouse.
Oh yeah, Brazilian steakhouse.
Yeah.
Those kind of places where you leave with the meat sweats.
And it's right.
So good. Man, haven't done that in a long time. That's awesome. You went to Northwood, so I'm assuming you have some sort of business mind.
Yeah.
What would you be doing if you weren't coaching?
I would like to be on the business side of like a nonprofit, a boys and girls club, really. Work my way up to be a CEO of it was my goal. I grew up going to the Boys and Girls Club since I was 6 years old. We had one in Royal Oak, so that was like my place. That was my favorite thing to do. Every day after school, all my friends, we'd go there and really just hang out in the gym and play basketball, play different games. So, and I just think that all those staff members, I wanted to be them. And then I ended up working there and I started coaching like little 6-year-olds, which they're the best. Loved doing that. And so, I mean, it was great. It was my summer job in college. And so I definitely wanted to be involved in that in some aspects. So
I love it. So did you kind of know you wanted to coach or work with kids through basketball like early on? Just because of that? Yeah.
Yeah. I think I always wanted to coach. Like the dream was a college coach. And it was like, I think, through college, it's like, all right, how realistic is this? Right. Yeah. It's like, can I afford to do this really? Am I going to get my foot in the door somewhere? So I always wanted to do it. I think just taking the leap of faith, go for it kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the hard thing because, college coaching's tough. It's a saturated market. It's tough. Once you're in, it's not so bad. But when you're trying to get in, it can be really difficult.
Right.
Having gone from college coaching to now working with 4th graders through 11th graders, man, it is so different. But yet kind of the same, right? Like there's a lot of commonalities, a lot of similarities, but the hardest part for me was like taking my language and vocabulary down to a level that, I mean, it's like you bring them in the middle of start practice, something like that, and they're chit-chatting about school and their favorite pair of shoes. Like we can't start a session with the Mystics until we discuss what pair of shoes I'm wearing, like all the time. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna bring my expectations down a little bit, like we'll get there. But I love it. Like it's been so fun. So when you say 6 and 7-year-olds, I've only worked with my roommate. He's 6.
Okay.
And my roommate's kids, I should say. He's not my only roommate. And so we're just starting with him, but it is hilarious.
It's hilarious. I think it just like keeps perspective for you. Like they are doing it because they enjoy it.
Yep.
Right. They love it. Yep. They are so proud of themselves when they make a basket. I love it. I'm like, absolutely celebrate like that. Keep it. But I loved the joy they had in it, and they think you're the coolest thing.
Yes.
And they don't. You could say anything. They don't know. They think you're the coolest.
Yep. He was out in the driveway teaching his friends. I'm teaching them everything you taught me already. Like, I'm just teaching them everything. I'm like, yeah, you go.
Yeah, you go.
I love it. Let's get the whole neighborhood going. Well, we can't. Yeah. We'll be on different driveways, but we can get them. I'll get them back.
Awesome.
Let's go. Yeah. I love it. The YMCA and the youth have been some of your influences. Who else has influenced you to get into the coaching or maybe into the business side? Any influences you got?
I mean, for sure, I think the whole Northwood staff. I mean, I was so lucky. Like looking back, even I knew I was lucky in it, but even looking back, I mean, between like, I had Coach Sam Hoyt, that's now the head coach at Tech, was my assistant. And then between Darce, who had been in it for about 10, 12 years, and then Courtney, who's now at CMU. Yeah. So, and I love them, stay in contact with them. They were always there for me. And I always wanted to be like, when I was an assistant, like really be like them. Like they had the respect of everyone, but also were like the ones, you doing all right, you good, they were such good balances to Coach Curtis. And then I think Coach Curtis is a huge influence. I mean, he has just made me a better person. And I think, you know, it, like, our relationship, like, through my 4 years, was not just great. You know, we had our ups and downs. Yep. We had some tough love talks, you know, there were tears. And but he always made me, like, want to earn his respect and come in and give my best. And I think for me too, like, I didn't play a lot, and I still every day wanted to give my best, and knew he valued my role, and how do I be the best at my role and help my team. So it's like, you know, I think going through the experience of working really, really hard and not getting what you want is the best thing I've ever learned. Yeah. And I said this at my senior speech, is that I worked really, really hard, didn't get what I wanted, but because Coach was able to speak on my behalf of being a great teammate and working so hard all the time, is that why I got the job at Alma. And I had a full-time coaching position coming right out of college because of him. You know. And so I just look back now as a coach, it's like, we all know everyone's not going to play, so how do we keep those kids bought in and really valuing their role and knowing that I value it, because they're going to make or break it in the locker room. So and, you know, to this day, and now, like, recruiting next to him and all the advice, and, like, I'm like, wow, Coach, didn't know I go through this as a coach. And he's like, yeah, you know, no one wrote a book on this. So he's constantly, like, I think, checking in on me, and just someone nice to have in my corner. That's great. And then I think my high school coach too, I've just been really lucky with coaches. And, you know, going through high school, like, before like, my class got there and hadn't been very good, and we kind of took off and turned the program around. And, you know, we talked to this day about, you know, he always said, I never did anything different, right? You do things the same way, and then it eventually pays off, right? So I always keep that in mind, right? Like, you're consistent, you do things the right way, and you kind of gotta just slow down and see the big picture a little bit, right? And he just showed me the time he put in and how much he cared about us and all he would do for us, which, again, looking back on it, now that I watch a lot of high school games and all that, like, man, I was really, really lucky to have a coach that did things. You know, we did things through the summer. Every time I wanted to stay after and shoot, he'd rebound for me. I mean, just stuff like that. But then I think too, like, just people I look up to are, you know, and I've gotten, you know, obviously played against them, but, like, Robin Freilich and Kendra, really, Faustin, like, you know, competing against them, and then just staying next to them, like, recruiting, like, I totally just enjoyed talking to them. And I think it was because they were so genuine and just real. And I think, you know, there was a point where I was looking for an assistant, and I was kind of freaking out, because I was like, all right, time is passing, I need help, you know? And so I'm texting Robin, like, do you have any suggestions? And, you know, she suggested a few people, and then, you know, I think could tell I was, you know, a little freak out mode a little bit. And she just gave me some advice. I don't know if she, you know, even realizes how much it meant to me, but she, you know, said things I learned, you know, becoming a head coach is take deep breaths. Not everything has to happen at once, and remember why you coach. And I think about all three of those every single day. You know, so great advice. And I think too, like, they're moms, and you know, they're moms, and they balance it. And, like, I hope to have a family one day, so you just look up to people. It's like, man, this is really tough, you know, the hours I put in and having a family. So, and I think they just do things the right way, like, outside looking in, they're genuine, and you know, they've accomplished great things on the court. So definitely look up to them, just kind of outside looking in, you know, following them and stuff like that.
Yeah, those are all really good. I mean, there's a lot in there, like, just the lessons learned being a college athlete, like you said, not getting what you want. You know, it's all about how you respond to that, and how you can take that into the head coaching role and have empathy for those players that aren't getting the minutes, really is going to serve you, you know. And I think that even going through this period of time, right, none of us really have what we want right now, but it's really our reactions to this, and how we're going to respond in this time, and what we're going to be able to use when we come out of this scenario, right? Like, having gone through that a little bit, it's never easy, you know. We all want our own things, but a lot of times the things we're going through are really for a reason. And it's for us to learn skills and tools that we're going to use to propel us as we come out of this, you know, whatever this may be. You know, I learned those lessons leaving college coaching. Like, that wasn't what I wanted. And now I'm like, oh, wow, I can see all these things that I went through in the past year that I'm using now, and how it's serving me, that I wouldn't really have had the knowledge or foresight to use those if I hadn't gone through that experience. So that, I mean, that's incredible. And for you to learn some of that at the age you learned it at is even better, right? It's almost a better route. It's not better when you're in it. It's you don't see it as better, but like looking back now, it's like, wow, I learned a lot of lessons someone who didn't struggle wouldn't have learned.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I and I tell my players that I'm like, you're going to come out and in the real world and be like, look at other people and be like, that upsets you. You know, that's what you're complaining about. And I just think, I'm like, you know, on to the next kind of. It's not hard for me to be positive. You know, it took a lot of self-reflecting too. Like it was not easy. Completely. Like, it was not easy. Even when I was older and a senior and stuff, and I felt like I had outworked people, and it just still, the cards did not fall how I wanted them to. You know, but it was like, it was so fun for me to have like Jordan Nurnberg come off the court and be like, Sami, what do you see? What do you see? Like, you know, and like, I'm like, this kid, you know, she led the nation double doubles. And he's like coming out like, what do you see? You know, our starting point guard, what do you see? You know, and I was like, I love this, you know, like, this is my role. And I embraced it, and I had fun with it. And the second I started doing that, really, is I enjoyed basketball that much more.
There it is. Right. And that's, we forget that we are doing this because it is something we love to do. It's fun, you know. One of the quotes I read a lot. I always have a bunch of quotes, but this is one I always like. Not everybody can be a star, but everybody can star in their role. And, you know, when you really kind of look at it that way, you start in your role, right? You were a coach for them. You were really a mentor to them as a teammate, you know, being able to see things that they couldn't see. And you were able to take that to a whole new level, which actually was experience you were gaining to get to this point. And then Robin and Kendra, obviously they're two great friends of mine. Ironically, I did one of these with Kendra, which was a fantastic time. Kendra, I've known forever. Robin, gosh, I was like a camp counselor when she was like a camper. Like, it makes me sound so old and like that, but she's on my list. I've got to talk to her to get her on one of these. I think she'd be fantastic. If you could relive any 2-hour segment of your life, what would it be?
Can I have two?
Oh, I would love it. Yeah, go ahead. Are you like breaking up the 2 hours, or you have 2-2-hour segments?
No, 2-2-hour segments.
Okay, let's go for it. It's your answer. Go for it.
Okay. One would be just being back at Northwood in our apartment with all my best friends, not doing anything, but just being in each other's company, laughing, enjoying it. Like, I can't tell you how much I miss that. I think my first year out of college was so hard. I mean, I had my dream job, and it was so hard because I just missed them. I missed, like, just not doing anything, just, you know, them being there. So I would do that in a heartbeat. And then my next 2-hour one would be, I would go back to watching March Madness with my Nana.
Oh, I love it.
Just sitting there, and my Nana grew up in England. My mom was born there, and so she has this British accent, and basketball was not a thing, you know, really, when she grew up. No, for her. And so she'd just sit there and be like, what's a rebound? You know? So I'd sit there and like explain the game, and she was so into it. And so, and I just loved it because, you know, she really loved it because she loved me, right? Like, she started owning the game because of me. So we always enjoyed that. And she'd also crack me up. She's just hilarious. So, but, you know, I just have great memories with her in basketball. So I would love to go back to that.
That's great. Those are two really good ones. That's really hard. Normally, we have to kick out like weddings and, you know, children birth, stuff like that. But no, we're not there with you yet.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. So with everything being open, those are two really good ones. I think that is an adjustment period for everybody, right? Kind of, you even hear professionals saying it, like, the number one thing when they retire is they miss the locker room, right? They just miss that like automatic connection, built-in camaraderie, ability just to hang out. Like, you just have so many commonalities. You're just hanging out, and it just, you feel feel fulfilled. So yeah, totally get that one. Those are great. And if we could just have March Madness at all, that would be
that's my favorite time of year.
Tough, isn't it?
I mean, yeah.
And I'm big into golf, so like the Masters not go, like all of these things. Gosh, it's heartbreaking. But a little break from television isn't too bad either.
No.
But of all times, to have all these sports that could be on TV,
yeah,
while just sitting here
all the time to watch them, right?
Yeah, that would have been amazing. But
what do you do?
Not to be. Wasn't meant to be. We'll enjoy it that much more when it actually comes back around.
Yeah, for sure.
If that's possible. I don't know how that's possible, but
right.
Has there been anything positive for you personally that's come out of this that you didn't anticipate going in?
Yeah, I mean, for me, and I mean, one, I learned really how much I do love my job because I can't wait to get back. Like, that's such a positive for me to have, one, a job right now, and two, a job I miss. Like, I'm thankful every day for that. I just can't express enough to do what you love, because I like wake up, get excited to go to work because, one, I work with great people, and then I love what I do. So that, but also for the first time, like in my career, this is the first, like, especially this time of year in like 3 years, is the time where I was like, I've known what my job is going to be the next year. So like my first year, there was a coaching change. I'm like, oh, college basketball just hit me in the face because I got the dream job. And then I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'll have a job. So then, you know, different head coach takes over. And again, I was happy I was still where I was, but it's still different, right? You don't know what's going to be different. And then right now, last year was the time I was like, man, I'm going for this head coaching job. And if I don't get it, where am I going to be? You know, always knowing I'm going to land on my feet somewhere. But like the anxiety, like every year, I just can't express that I'm doing great, honestly. Like, I'm just so thankful and calm, but it's like, okay, now, like, how do we make this program better? Like, you know, the consistency, how do I get better during this time? And I think, so that's the biggest positive for me. And like, I talked to my mom about it, is like, I can finally like feel like I can take a breath, you know, and never that you should get comfortable, but there's some consistency, and I think that's big. So so I think that's a big positive for me. And then just time to self-reflect, really just stop and think, you know, about myself, like outside of basketball, or like when it comes to work, like this past year, and where can we be better? Where can I be better? Where can our staff be better? And then just time to connect with other coaches. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. And so I've set up some like FaceTime calls with different coaches, and I actually have one with Kendra on Tuesday, so I'm pretty excited with that, and then a few more. So I mean, I'm just trying to value this time. And I think too, it's like, we're so busy, and not that I think this time is ideal, but also, am I going to look back and be like, oh, well, I wish I had a day like that kind of. So just trying to value it. It is what it is. So
you're so right. That self-reflection piece is really big, but just having the time to do it, because everybody really wants to evaluate at the end of the year, and you really want to do it, but like the next thing is coming at you. You know, it's like, now it's recruiting, and college coaching is so crazy. It's, you know, 24/7, 12 months out of the year, and it is just constant. It's really hard to take that time to do that. So that's huge. And reaching out to other coaches is amazing. It is, I said this in my interview with Coach Kiefer at Concordia. He does a great job of this too, of trying to reach out and pick people's brains who've been around the profession for a long time. And probably something I really struggled with, or didn't really think about or do when I was younger. And looking back, I wish I had. So the fact that you're doing that is amazing. You can learn from everybody, right? So the more you pick brains, the more you learn. Like, you're still, you know, molding exactly what you want your philosophy to be, exactly how to be efficient, and what specifically you want to do and like and dislike. So you're trying new things, and it's awesome. Like, that's awesome. And so the more you talk to people, oh, this worked for them, I'll give that a shot. Or that's awesome, it worked for you. Not really going to serve here, but you know, you still have it in the back of your mind if things ever change for you. Like, that's incredible. I think that's really big.
I can't honestly wait for like 8 years down the road to look back and be like, remember when, you know, or,
oh man,
like, you know, that's how you did things, or look how much better you've got, you know, like, I hope that's what I say, but I think, you know, you just learn so much just on the fly. You know?
I say that a lot. I'm like, man, I just feel so bad for like the athletes I coached in the first like 4 years. like even 6 years, you know what I mean? Like, oh gosh, if I could go back and just do so many things over, like it would be incredible. Like even now, like I just feel like I see things so much differently. My perspective is totally changed. I'm in a totally different mindset. It's like, man, and Ryan is always he's like, man, maybe you should go back to college coaching. Like, look what you, like, look at this, and you're doing this and doing that. I'm like, I know it really would serve these college athletes well. I'm like, I don't know though. I don't know if that's for me anymore, but gosh, you know, once in a while it's like, oh, if I could just work with them for like a few minutes, like that would be awesome. But you know, I think if you're a growth mindset and you're constantly learning, like that'll never leave, right? You'll 8 years from now, you'll be like, oh, feel bad for those athletes. And 8 years from that, you'll be like, ooh, I feel bad for that middle group. You know, like it just keeps going. Well, which is the intention. It should happen that way.
For sure.
Do you have one to, like, let's go, I would say one, but I like books. So we're going to go like 1 to 3 books that you've read that have really impacted you.
Yeah. Well, in college, we all read The Hard Hat, like our whole team did. And I mean, I love that. I mean, there's so many things you can take away from it, but I guess, you know, just being the great teammate, right? The ups and downs, the adversity, and then just valuing the game. Because obviously the ending of that book is, you know, not great in the story, but like just valuing every moment you have. I love that. I'm reading the John Gordon book, Starts in the Locker
Win in the Locker Room First.
Yep, Win in the Locker Room First. So I love that. I mean, I'm not finished with it yet, but I've just enjoyed just being like, oh yeah, not crazy. You know,
I really like the root over fruit section in there. Have you got to that?
No, I don't think so.
Don't worry, it's not a spoiler. But when you get to that, that's really cool. The root over fruit piece is really interesting.
Right. I liked I mean just all the communication stuff and just hearing people's different stories of like it was like Doc Rivers, you know, saying he's good at communication and then like he wants to be better at communication, right? And I think that's like a big thing for me, and you know, not just assuming. Obviously, they know what you're doing or like talking about, because if you do that, they have no idea, you know, and just like, just also communicating that the players need to communicate with me.
Yes.
Because I have 20 some of them, and I think you hear me one way and you take it a different way, and I have no idea. So I really like that, and I've actually encouraged some of our leaders to read it too. I think it's a good perspective for them, you know, not just hearing my voice.
Definitely.
And then my book is actually in my office right now that I started, and I cannot get to it, but it's the Pat Summit, like 12 leadership.
Definite Dozen or Daily Dozen. Yeah.
So I'm midway through that, but I can't get to it at the moment. But
really good. I like those. So you're clearly a John Gordon fan.
Yeah.
So did you do a one word? Have you ever done a one word for the year?
I haven't, but I did pick one for this year.
Oh, nice. What'd you pick?
Patience.
Ooh, clutch.
Yeah.
Perfect for this time.
Yeah, for sure.
Be patient. Yeah.
When I was thinking about it, I just kept coming back to be patient. I mean, it's something I think I need to work on anyways, like, but I still think it applies to where we're at as a program. And just, I think, you know, me being able to slow down, it's not like, what's the next best thing, right? Like being where your feet are. So
really good. Yeah. Another one of my favorite quotes, be where your feet are.
Yeah.
So books, are you a hard book or a like Kindle or audiobook person?
No, audio, I will not pay attention. Like my thoughts will just go. I have to like hard book cover, staring at a screen. Can't do it. I need the book. So
as much as I wish I could do the audiobook, but it literally is like white noise. It's almost like, it really does make me think a lot, because it's just like white noise. Everything else zones out, but I don't hear one thing the book is saying. Like nothing. Yeah. So I wish I could do the audiobooks. I've done a couple like books on my phone during this time. But yeah, it's not the same. Do you have a new habit, a belief, or a behavior that you've picked up in the last 4 or 5 years that has really impacted the way you do things or impacted your life?
I've been trying to like come home from work and just like be in thought kind of, because I think I've realized the more like, it's just, our job is constantly talking and talking and talking. And And listening, of course, but
Yep.
like just being involved with people. I think, I've really valued like just coming home and just honestly doing nothing.
Yeah.
And how much it's really helped me. Or like even driving in a car and not like getting on the phone or anything, just thinking.
It's really good.
Really tried to do that. I just think it clears my mind, makes me better, and I think sometimes it's really easy to overthink a lot.
All right, let's do some favorites. Favorite ice cream?
Cookies and cream.
Oh, solid. I think the most common answer is mint chocolate chip.
Really?
Yeah, I found that interesting. It doesn't have to be a favorite. Maybe a couple. Favorite movies?
I'm gonna be honest. Movies are tough for me. I usually cannot sit there for 2 hours and pay great attention. I like. I mean, any like real story.
And based on a true story or like an actual like documentary?
I like both, but I mean, movies for like entertainment, like based on a true story. I mean, like just thinking like classics, like Remember the Titans. Is great. Like movies along those lines. I don't know if I actually have a favorite because I'm not a big movie. Like let's sit down and watch a movie because
That's fair.
Have
you ever seen? I'm gonna guess maybe not, or heard of the movie Unbroken?
Yeah, I've watched it about the Olympic runner Louis. Right?
Yeah.
Yes, I loved it.
That was so good.
Yeah, it was good.
I love it. I read that book and watched the movie. They're both fantastic. So then, are you into like TV series or no?
Yeah, I mean, we all have our Netflix shows, right?
Yeah. So like, what are your favorite ones?
I like This Is Us. I've been following that. And then Parenthood. They're made by the same maker, so
nice.
I really like those. A Million Little Things.
Gosh, I wanted to start that. Actually, I wanted to watch all of those. I haven't watched any of those.
Yeah,
like amazing. I've watched a lot of series. I haven't seen any.
Well, you have a lot of time.
I know. I gotta go.
Start an episode a day.
What have I watched over break? I've recently finished The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. That I think that's on Prime. It's a kind of a comedy. It's really good.
Have you seen Ozark?
Oh, Ozark. I just finished
that too. That was good.
I said this, it's a really bold statement. I've said it more than once, that episode 9 of season 3, so the second to last episode, is probably the best 1-hour television show I've ever seen on TV.
Wow.
And then I thought about it and I was like, gosh, I did watch Game of Thrones the last couple seasons and there were some pretty incredible hours in there as well. So I might have to take that statement back a little bit. But it was so good.
It was good.
Favorite food?
I think I have to go with tacos.
Yeah, so solid. You can go so many routes.
So many routes, so many variety, right? So much variety in it.
I've been craving breakfast tacos.
Oh, see?
Yeah, and we just don't have a lot of like that kind of food in the house, but it sounds so good. Eggs, maybe some bacon.
Yep.
I mean, gosh, a little cheese. Then this is the capper of all the questions. I feel like I could just use this question and get to know everybody. So I should just do this first, but I feel like this is the fun one. Using the initials of your name.
Okay.
Select a group, a singer, a duo, doesn't matter, but create your summer music festival.
All right.
Oh, you got double S's. What's your middle name?
Lorraine. So
SLS. Okay.
LS. Okay. So I think I have to go first S. Smash Mouth.
Ooh. Okay.
Me and my best friend a while ago went to DT and it was like Smash Mouth, Sugar Ray, like.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was
90s.
Awesome. Yeah.
90s? Yeah.
It was awesome. Yeah. L is easy. Luke Combs.
Ooh, solid.
I mean, that was a really easy one.
Yeah.
Another S. I think I'd have to go like Stevie Nicks.
Oh gosh, that's so good.
Landslide, one of my favorite songs. So.
Gosh, I need to talk to Kendra again now that you say Stevie Nicks because and Coach Curtis. So Kendra picked Foo Fighters.
Okay.
Which I'm not a big Foo Fighters fan, but that's great. It's her festival.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did not discuss Fleetwood Mac.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's a problem. We're gonna have an amendment. I gotta write this down so anyone.
What was Coach Curtis's?
he chose, well, so then when I originally heard this question, it was to use your entire name, like every letter. So I was like, man, you'd have double F's for Jeff, right?
Right.
Double F's. And so he said, well, first it'd be Foo Fighters for sure. And then I was like, oh, that's what Kendra said too, but we didn't get to Fleetwood Mac either. And you got a nice eclectic summer festival.
Yeah, we're gonna hit every generation.
Yeah, every generation. You're gonna hit fans. Literally, like you're gonna introduce Smash Mouth to Stevie Nicks fans. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and then along with Luke Combs, I mean, that's a just whole different group.
Whole different.
So, yeah, it would be pretty fun. I mean, I'd enjoy it, which me and my friends would enjoy it. Which is
and let's be honest, it's your festival,
exactly.
So you better enjoy it.
Yeah.
I didn't ask if you had a story or memory of me that pops into your mind, but I do have one for you that you don't even know this.
Oh, that makes me
I think this is awesome. Yeah, no, you're a little nervous.
That makes me really nervous.
No, you don't have to be nervous.
Okay.
So when you were in high school and we would come watch your like AU games or high school game, my assistant was Darren Shroon at the time. I don't know if you remember Darren.
Yeah.
But we used to call you Big Shot Stormont. All the time, because it seemed like it never failed, whether it was the end of the clock, the end of the half, like something. There was a big shot, you hit it. Like every time we're like, oh, Big Shot Stormont, like here we go, like every time. Yeah, well, it's not to be nervous about. That's good.
Yeah, no, that's actually funny, and that's actually really funny.
And Sammy, well, I appreciate you coming on. I hope you had a lot of fun. I can't wait to edit this one, get it up for everybody to see it. Bring some recognition to the Elma Scotts. Get everybody to know you a little bit better. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday. It looks really sunny outside. Take advantage while you can, because who knows in Michigan what's coming next.
It's snowing tomorrow.
Exactly, could be. So, well, I appreciate it. Just appreciate you being on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
For sure. We will talk soon. Good luck on the Zoom recruiting trail.
Thank you. It's a joy.
You're welcome.